Welcome back, Verse, to another video today. Verse, today's video reaction is going to be another interesting one. The trailer that we're going to be reacting to is from Disney, and it's another live-action film of Lilo and Stitch. They finally released the trailer for the live-action film, and I'm going in here with caution. And the reason why is because a lot of their live-action films just haven't been very good. They haven't, right? I mean, the latest one, Mufasa, right? Like, who asked for an origin story of Mufasa? And it did nothing. It literally did nothing. You go online, nothing but just negative feedback for that film. The only thing they did was just two things. Just give an origin of Mufasa, and then obviously went ahead and they improved on the facial reactions because they said that the original live-action Lion King film had no expression, which is true. I saw it. They had no expression at all. And that's the only reason why they made it. So, yeah. Other than that, the live action films, they've really been hit or miss. You know, some people like some more than others. When it comes down to the live action films, right, I'm not really crazy about them. I mean, they're there. Either you like them or you don't, right? When it comes down to Lilo and Stitch, though, I'm not really crazy about it. It's not really one of the films that I'm looking forward to the most, but I will say I am intrigued because it's Lilo and Stitch, right? Lilo and Stitch is one of the most creative Disney films that they got. The ones that I was really looking forward to were obviously Mulan. That didn't go very well. Not even close. I was like, this is Mulan. Other than Mulan, Aladdin, which was fine. There was obviously the Lion King, disappointed with the live action on that. And then the one that I'm really looking forward to the most, Hercules. You can't mess up Hercules, alright? If they do, I'm gonna just be beyond amazed with Disney. Like, how? How do you mess up Hercules? Hercules is the one live action Disney film I actually want to see, and right now, I know that they're in the middle of trying to find their Hercules. That's what I found out a little while ago. And honestly, believe it or not, one of the actors to be considered to play Hercules is Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan as Hercules. So yeah, again, not confirmed, alright? It's just out there in the air. So I just hope that they find the right actor to portray Hercules. And obviously I want to hear the Disney songs again. I still remember that film. One of my favorites of all time when it comes down to Disney, that's for sure. That's just me. When it comes down to Lilo and Stitch, I will say there is some divisiveness when it comes down to this film. Why? Well, because when they released the first image or the first little teaser of Lilo and Stitch, mainly Stitch, they didn't like his design. There was a lot of talk of the fact that they didn't like the fact that Stitch has fur. Some people said, well, he kind of has fur. People say, no, he doesn't. For me, I really don't care. I don't really pay attention to that. Again, I'm not that big of a fan of Lilo and Stitch. I remember the movies. I remember the cartoon show, and that's it, right? I wasn't crazy about it. I watched it, but yeah. So here, I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to do the live action film for Lilo and Stitch. So with that said, though, Verse, let's get to it. Volume's up. Okay, Verse, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go.
We have apprehended
oh, wow.
dangerous experiment.
That looked good. Good shot.
Where is he?
He escaped.
He's trying to find the police cruisers.
He took the red one. What hideous planet is caught in your crosshairs?
Shooting star! I wish for a friend. Like a best friend.
A little. That was funny.
He's so cute and fluffy.
He is your responsibility. Got it.
We promise.
Yeah.
I mean, the CGI looks fine. I'll say that.
No. Control him. Hey, what are you doing? No. Dogs on the table.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Rough.
Okay.
Hana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
Or forgotten.
Stitch bad.
Sometimes family isn't perfect. That doesn't mean they aren't good. That was close. I don't think you're supposed to drink that.
It's a little bit more rebellious, right? Because that's what I was kind of catching here. Like, she's not very rebellious. She's just like a little kid.
Cobra Bubbles. We have a blue dog to catch.
Oh yeah, the agent, right? I forgot about that. Is he the ice cream guy? I remember him.
No. I'm gonna give you to the count of 3, Stitch. 1.
I see the fur. I see what people are saying a little bit. Well, okay, wow. There's a lot to talk about here, Verse. My thoughts on Lilo and Stitch live action. So obviously positives and then negatives, Verse. So the positives. The film looks like a lot of fun. It does, right? And that's the point of Lilo and Stitch, right? It's just about these two, one young rebellious girl as well as this crazy alien thing, right? Just like coming together, building a bond, and they're always just causing trouble, whether it's one or the other. One mainly more than the other. That's for sure. When it comes down to the film, the action looks fine. Not that it's an action film, right? But just the things that Stitch does, right? Because Stitch is supposed to cause a lot of trouble. He's out of control sometimes, right? He goofs around a lot. He doesn't understand certain things that humans do, so he kind of like destroys a lot, even though it's unintentional. Because to him, his strength is just over the top. When it comes down to the actors, I will also say I think the actors were casted fine here too. The performances seem fine. When it comes down to Lilo though, positive and negative, I'll just say positive. I'm glad that they found someone that does look like Lilo. You know, I think this little girl is going to be fine. I will say her performance is here and there, but again, this is a child actor, so I'm not going to go like, man, like this is the best child actor you can get. I can't really do that because these are kids, right? Like, you know, they're not like adults where they have a lot of training and they're more mature and they understand what they're saying and going into. Like, that's different. So for who they got here as Lilo, I will say they did a fine job here. You know, I think the actress is going to do fine. There is one more thing to say, but it is more on the negative side, which I'll get to in a bit. When it comes down to the cinematography, it's not crazy, but it's fine. I like some of the shots that I saw, mainly with the CGI scenes, right? I think the CGI shots look great. I think the visuals for these alien characters look really good. I'll be honest with you, right? Their expressions are really on point. I do like that. And Stitch looks fine. I will be honest with you. The fur does stand out a bit. Yeah, it does. I'm not really here like, oh man, that CGI. No, like, it looks fine. It's not really anything bad to complain about, necessarily, right? It's one of these things that you either like it or you don't. For me, I don't mind it. I don't like it, but I don't mind it. It's not, you know, something that stands out necessarily too bad. I have a friend of mine who hated it. We were talking about it when they first released it. He was like, I hated it. I hate the design. He doesn't have fur. It just looks bad. I remember he was going into it about it, so I was like, okay. I was like, well, I don't really know. I'm not a fan like that, so. I totally forgot about the agent, too. It's cool that they showed him in here a little bit, which was awesome. I forgot about that character. When it comes down to more positives, that's really it right now. I'm glad they didn't show too much here. I'm happy about that. They just introduced the characters. When it comes down to the negatives, I will say, I remember the film Lilo and Stitch, right? And I remember Lilo, right, was having some problems of her own, and she was also a bit rebellious when it came down to her, I believe her older sister, right? Or aunt, I think it was a sister. And here, I don't really feel that, right? She doesn't really come off as rebellious or like always coming in late to do those dances. I remember that from the film, right? Or always like saying she'll do something but she doesn't, you know? Like, it doesn't really come off like that. I just see a kid, which is understandable because in the cartoon she is a kid, right? But in the cartoon she's more of a mature kid. Where here, because it's live action, I don't know they're going to be able to do that very well. So there's a possibility that going into this film, you might have to leave that segment out unless they just haven't shown that. The goofiness, I'll be honest, it's a little over the top for me, but again, it is Disney, right? So what else would you expect from that? Again, I don't mind watching a film that's based off something, right? Especially if it's intended for kids, but that's what I'm saying. I don't watch films like that very much because I'm more of a mature aspect person, right? Like, I like to find films that are either comedy aspect or very mature or serious or gory or something like that, right? When it comes down to really kiddie films, they're just not for me, you know? Like, I can't do it. Like, I'll watch it and then, again, it's one of those films where you gotta just turn your brain off and not really take it seriously, but I'm just like, like, it really depends. So I feel like there's gonna be some of that here, right? Which is understandable. It's fine. That's just me. If you're someone that's into that, that's fine. There's no problem, especially if you have kids. When it comes down to negatives, there's really not much to say here, honestly. Other than the fact that I will say, I just hope that maybe they don't overdo it with Stitch, right? Because in animated films, I remember Stitch had some moments, right, where he caught himself. And that's why I liked how they kind of showed you that moment a little bit where he pretty much was self-aware about who he is and what he was doing. Yeah, I mean, everything looks really good. It looks good. It feels good, and then other than that, it makes you want to watch it. With that said though, bros, let me me know what you guys think about Lilo and Stitch, the live action film. Do you think they're gonna do a good job, or do you think it's still too soon to say? Let me know, I'd be happy to hear. So with that said, if you like what you saw, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification for more content as always. Look forward to the next video verse, and with that said, I'll see you next time. Later verse.